11 criteria, or 6 or more says severity. And the severity scale should help you pay special attention to let's make sure that we don't let this person with severe substance use disorder drop through the cracks. We shouldn't do that with any of them, but it's going to be especially important for people who have severe substance use disorders. And here's the simplified severity and core specifiers. In early remission, none of the criteria for substance use disorder for a period of 3 months, but less than 12 months, except for the criterion about craving, because you could, people can have craving without that necessarily meaning they've had a recurrence of their substance use disorder. So we just have early remission and sustained remission. You remember there used to be early partial remission and full, I even forget all of the different categories now in DSM-4. But just 2 simple ones, early remission and sustained remission. Sustained remission, no criteria of substance use disorder for a period of 12 months or longer, excluding, again, the craving dimension. And early remission being 3 months but less than 12 months. There are ways then to look at further detail. You can look at, well, they've had early remission, but they've been in a controlled environment, and an environment where your access to alcohol and other drugs is more restricted. So if a person hasn't used but they've been in a controlled environment, that would be a good thing to take note of, because that would be different from if they haven't used but they've been living in the community. Not that you can't get drugs in prison and in jail, but if it's going to be much more difficult, the fact that somebody is not using in a controlled environment may not necessarily mean that they are well stabilized. It just might mean they have less opportunity and it's harder to get the drug. So we want to assess substance use disorders, and I want to quickly remind you about substance-induced disorders, because addiction is the great mimicker. So in DSM-4, there was a lot of focus on substance-induced mental disorders, because people can have mood swings, and that's not necessarily bipolar disorder. People can have insomnia, but that might be from intoxication or withdrawal, not necessarily major depression. And so DSM-4 had a more intricate system of looking at primary mental disorders and distinguishing them from substance-induced disorders. DSM-5 kind of tried to simplify it a bit and to have a more flexible approach.